what's the most impactful event in your life thus far? And then the other question from Karina Jenks is, have you ever faced any adversity, trials, tribulations that just shook your world? And if so, how did you overcome it? I would say they totally tie together with the same answer, and that would be going through my divorce. I was with my ex-wife for over 15 years, so we had a total life together that we had built from got married when I was 23. We started a photography business together. Our families, our friends, business acquaintances, everything was tied together. We owned a house here in San Diego together, and so the most impactful was not only that experience of 15 years sharing a life with somebody, but also to lose all that, and to be able to go through that type of transition afterwards and kind of a rebirth. Was definitely the most impactful thing in my life. It forces you into places that you don't want to go and places you should go. I feel like it makes you who you are, and I can talk about it now, years later, because I'm past the brunt of it, and I feel like I've learned so much about myself through that process of loss, that now I can help other people who might be struggling in their marriage or in a relationship or just anything related to that, because you go from having your identity tied into that other person that you love, and suddenly you're just on your own again. So you have to reinvent yourself, which is really tough. You have to make new friends in many cases, and even work-related stuff. The losses, like we had this photography studio together. It was a big thing that we built together, and I lost that to some degree, and started my own thing. And I miss not having my house. You sell the house and you become very attached to that. It's a really nice possession to own, and it becomes sentimental and things like that. And of course the person themselves. My ex-wife is an amazing woman, and I love her just as much as I always have, and I just wish her the absolute best. And we have so much mutual respect for each other and want nothing but the best. And I think that although we did get divorced, there couldn't have been a better, more peaceful resolution in terms of our split, and moving forward. That's a great feeling to have versus when people are totally at odds and they just want to destroy the other person. It was not the case, and still isn't to this day. So I am grateful for that, as hard as it was. Obviously I miss many things, like my former in-laws and stuff. There's a lot of stuff that comes with divorce where they say that it's worse than death, because it really is when you're going through it. I was in the darkest of places, and to see where I'm at now is amazing, like in terms of where I remember my mindset being, and the fears that you have and all the unknown. It's like crushing, like from the heartbreak side to just the challenge it puts on you as a human being to go through it. I don't wish it on anybody, but life has other plans. We just have to accept things sometimes, and the thing we do have control over is how we respond to things, not always what happens to us. And so yeah, I think that was the most impactful part of my life, because of how much I had to grow and was forced to grow. And like I said, it makes you who you are, and I think that that's all you can do with certain stuff like that. You can't reflect back with regret. You just have to be like, what could I have done differently, or how can I apply this to my life moving forward, so I can try not to make the same mistakes again. So yeah, hopefully that answers that question. So guys, with this Q&A video, if there's something in here that maybe you thought of, you're like, oh, I'd love to ask Weston this, make sure you comment below, and I will try to add that to the next video. And even if it's a follow-up to one of the questions that's on here, and maybe I didn't elaborate enough, definitely comment below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. All right, this one's kind of funny. Ruby Lopez says, is it easy being a male model over 25? Well, I started 7 or so years ago, so maybe 39. From the start, it went really well. Like, I got in with the right people. I felt like I took the time to try to ask other models and learn about the industry on Google and stuff, and find different agencies that would be willing to see me so I could meet with them, get their vibe, and not just like jump at the first opportunity, but really think about it. And I feel like if you have good intuition and you're self-aware and you have an idea of what you want, it's easier to find out where you fit in. Age hasn't really been a huge thing. More recently, after being in Cape Town, South Africa for 2.5 months, I had signed with an agency out there, and they recommended the second I got there to no longer dye my beard, because I had been dyeing it brown because it just turned white like sort of prematurely for my age. My hair's pretty much brown, so they told me to embrace it. And so this is kind of a new transition period, and I think it's going to take a little bit of time to settle in because my portfolio has changed, and when clients land on my page, whatever modeling site it's on, agency site it's on at the time, they're going to immediately have a perspective that's like, oh, well, he's going to be this demographic. So we'll see, you know, now that I've been more gray. I think it works for me to be able to represent a lot of brands that, you know, you can't have some young guy sitting in a Rolls Royce and expect that you're gonna sell it, because people they're not gonna believe it, you know, unless you're like some Hollywood producer, young dude, or, you know, you sold your software company, you're a young guy, you're a hip hop artist. Like, most Rolls Royce owners that are going to see their ads are going to probably want someone that looks like they've, you know, been around for a little bit, been through something. So I bring that up because I had shot for Rolls Royce and they asked me to keep my beard gray. So that just tells me that, like, there's obviously psychology goes behind that, and the brand and marketing and the target audience they're trying to reach. So anyways, I think that there's a lot of brands, those high-end brands especially, that you know, a lot of the 40 and 50 plus people can afford, that would identify more with a model that's a little bit older. So there's agencies that actually have a roster in addition on their site that's called Classic, and even agencies that are called you know, that specialize in silver models. So yeah, there's definitely a market, and so far so good. We'll see. Again, thank you guys so much for all the questions, and I'm excited to do a future Q&A if you guys are still really curious about certain things about me and my life and the modeling industry and anything in between. Before you go, make sure you subscribe. Like I said, I'm gonna have new videos each and every week. And I love all the suggestions you guys have had so far. I have been like logging them in like Google Docs, so I do have stuff in the queue. There's just a lot of stuff in there. So anyways, thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it for taking the time to invest in me, and I will see you guys next time.
And when you're on that tightrope, I'll be there to break your fall.